Okay, hello everyone. I just want to make a quick short video on relationship between the legs and the hypotenuse in two triangles. One is 45 degrees, 45, 90, and the other one is 30 degrees, and this is 60 degrees. So for the first one, I will take, because these two angles are same, they are also become the base angles of isosceles triangle. These two will be the same. I'm taking this as 1 unit. So let's see, 1 feet could be 1 inch, and this is 1. Now we do know by Pythagorean formula that if you have a right triangle, if this is ABC, then a square plus b square is c square. You can also remember this in two different ways. If you want to find the leg, so remember these are the leg, this is also the leg, and this is the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the side which is opposite to 90 degrees. Then we could use as a higher classes, we need to know that directly. If I want to know the hypotenuse, you can if you have a square plus b square is c square, and I subtract b square both sides, this will go away, and you end up getting this, and then you take a square both sides. So basically you get a is square root, that directly we can remember this. Okay? So that's what I want you to do. Or so one is, or hypotenuse, you can just put a square root. So your c will become, so hypotenuse will be square root sum of the square of the legs. So either we could use this directly, these two formulas, that leg equals a square root of difference of hypotenuse square minus leg square, and so on. Now we check this in this example. If this is 1, and these are the legs, and the hypotenuse is this, so the hypotenuse becomes, this hypotenuse will be equal square root of, you just square this 1 square plus 1 square is square root of 2. So what did we learn? So whatever that, if this is 1, you just have to multiply square root of 2. That's it. So no matter what, if it is a, so let's say if this was a and if this was a, so you just multiply square root of a. Sorry, square root of 2 times a. And that's all it is. But how do we go backwards? That means, so if this is 1 and this is 1 and this is square root of 2, what if they give us the hypotenuse? This is given something, let's say this side is given 8. How do I figure out what is this one? So if that's the case, remember this formula can be changed to, this formula could be changed to, let's see, if this was, let me write, this is a, this is a, this is square root of a. Well, I don't know why I'm writing this square root of a. This is a. So you kind of multiply all the sides by a, and if you are given this as 8, and then you can clearly see you divide by square root of 2, and this leads to 8 square root of 2. So kind of divide it. So my goal is, I'm not interested there. For me, this only is important. Okay, right now I'm focusing on, hey, this is 1, that's square root of 2. And once you get this, we need to know what is sine, cosine, and tangent. Let's see, if this is the angle 45, and how do we define sine of angle 45? And sine 45 is opposite side divided by hypotenuse, which you guys know. So this will be opposite is, this is the opposite here, and this is the adjacent. So adjacent is the side the side that touches the angle. Of course, the hypotenuse also touches the vertex here, but it has a spatial name, hypotenuse, right? So this is adjacent. Opposite side is the one does not touch the angle. So the form is that special. So sine 45 is opposite, that's 1 over square root of 2. But then this is changed to, we don't want to keep the denominator as a square root of 2, so multiply both by this and you end up getting this answer. 2 square root 2 multiplies 2. So there you go. So henceforth, we are going to build a unit circle in later classes. So what do we know? That sine 45 is root 2 divided by 2. Cosine 45. So cosine 45 is adjacent. So this one is adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent is again 1, and you end up getting the same answers. And then what is tan 45? So I'm going to write it right here. Tan 45. Tan definition is opposite over hypotenuse. So the opposite is 1. That's the opposite. It's the hypotenuse, and you get 1. So what did we learn here is that sine 45 is root 2 over 2, cosine is root 2 over 2, and tangent. And besides that, also we have to know that a reciprocal function, that is a ratio, that if it is sine, cosecant. So cosecant of 45 degrees is the it is definition is like hypotenuse over opposite. So this was 1 over root 2. I'm going to use this, so you get root 2. Say, and instead of cosecant, you see as C is the shortcut, so that's how we write. So it is root 2. Then secant, that is secant of 45. So this secant 45 is again the same thing. It's the hypotenuse over adjacent, which is 1 over root 2. So you just flip it and write root 2. So these are the 2 new answers. And the last one is cotangent. So cotangent is also chord of 45 degrees, which is also the reciprocal of this. It's hypotenuse divided by opposite, and you get again you get 1 here. So these are the 6 ratio that for special triangle 45, 45. So hopefully I'm going really fast here because you know sine, cosine, and tangent. This could be the new one, CSC, which is cosecant, and this is secant 45. They are just the reciprocal of this. That's all it is. Now let's go back to 30, 60, 45. What I'm going to do is, let's take this as 1. So let's call this as 1. And the question is, how do we know what is the side opposite to 30? So we want to know what is this side and what is this side. So for that, I'm going to try to get an equilateral triangle. So this way I can draw equilateral triangle. So why is this? So if this is 1, this also is 1, right? So this is the equilateral. It doesn't look like maybe. Okay, so that's 30, this is 30, so this is 60, right? So this is going to be 60. Equilateral triangle, all angles are same and the sides are equal. So if this is 1, because I assume that the equilateral triangle is 1 foot maybe. So 1, so this will be, so from here to here will be half. See? So this is 1 and this is half. So the question is, how do we figure out this side? The third one, I will take this off. Let's focus only on this. So you do know what this is the leg and that's the hypotenuse. You can use the shortcut trick. The leg is square root. So I want to know what is this leg, right? So let's call this as x maybe. So, or you can call this as, let's say, L. L stands for the leg. The formula is square root c squared minus b squared. In other words, it's the hypotenuse. C is the hypotenuse of 1 square. And this leg is half, so it is half square this will be 1. 1 half is 1 times 1 is 1 and 4. Now what is this? So multiply, you need to have a denominator 4, so I divide 4 and multiply 4. And then that yields 4, this 4 minus 1, which is 4 minus 1 is in the denominator. So the goal is to get the lake here. So you get square root of 3 over 4, and that is, again, separate the radical to the numerator and to the denominator. Okay. Now, why we do this is, so let's check. So we get square root of 3 divided by 2. So now that we know all the three sides, can we write the trigonometric ratios for 30 degrees? Let's do only for 30 degrees. So 30 degrees, and this side I'll make it for 60 degrees. So if I want to know what 30 degrees is from the top one, that's 30 degrees here. So to figure out that, what I'm going to do is, if this is the sine 30, so let's write down sine of 30 degrees. Then we need to know what is cosine of 30 degrees. And then we need to know what is tangent of 30 degrees. And then I'm going to write cosecant. So that's like C as C of 30 degrees. Then we have to have what is secant of 30 degrees and tangent of 30 degrees. Okay. Now, be careful. Because of my angle is 30, so that's the angle, right? So if this is the focus angle, this is the main angle, right? So let me make it a black color. So that's the main angle. This is the angle, right? So if that's the angle, the opposite is this one. What is the opposite side? It is the side that does not touch the angle. So this is the opposite for this 30 degrees. And the one that touches it is this one is touches, so that's the adjacent. So our reference angle main is 30 degrees. So let's do it quickly. 30 degrees, sine 30. Now the definition sine, you can also remember that from earlier geometry class, you do already know that. So you can remember this. If you forget, there you go. Sine is opposite hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent hypotenuse, tangent is opposite adjacent. Now, if I begin with the sine 30, so that's the sine 30, right? So opposite cross is half. So this is half. See? So this is sine 30 is half. So that's half. Divide by hypotenuse is 1. And there you go. So this is same as 1/2. That's what we learned. Sine 30 is half. Second, cosine 30. What is cosine 30? So let's use this cos. Cosine adjacent. So adjacent is this one, root 3 by 2. So write like root 3 by 2 divided by 1. So anything divided by 1 will end up getting the same. Remember, the numerator stays the same thing. 1030. So if it is 1030, so the opposite, so TOA, T-O-A. So 1030 is opposite. So opposite side is, so I have to write a ratio, the numerator and denominator. The numerator is the half. So let's write it. And the adjacent is root 3 by 2. And then you can use the keep, change, flip. So that is half, change, division changes to multiplication, and you flip this. And this 2 divided by 2, they cross us, see this 2? So you get 1 over square root of 3. But 1030 is 1 over square root of 3, multiplying root 3, we can remember directly, this is square root of 3 divided by 3. If you get confused, just remember, if you have 1 over square root of b, it's always square root of b divided by b. Look at it. So don't even break your head. Just write the same thing up here, and the down is without the radical sign. So that an example, if I have square root of 5, you can just write square root of 5 up and then put a 5 down. Done. Now we are almost ending, just finishing this. The goal is to get trigonometric ratios for all acute sine 45 we did. And now I'm working on sine this one, and then finally we do for 16. Okay, so let's finish. So tan 30. Then now what about cosecant 30? Cosecant is from here I will receive this one is going to be, if this is 1 over 2, this is 2 over 1, so 2. So 2 over 1 is 2. We will organize this, I'll make a chart later to write all this. So secant of 30, this is root 3 2, this becomes 2 over root 3, and remember the trick, I can write this, instead of root 3, I can write up there, square root of root 3 divided by 3. And finally tan 30 is that one. So I'm going to use this one as 1 over root 3. So tan 30 is root 3, reciprocal is root 3 divided. And you're done. All this has to be organized, everything into a small, let's organize this. So that means I need to know, so what are the angles that we have? It's 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and 60 degrees. These are the main angle vectors, and the three ratios. So this is the angle, and this is the trig ratios. So we have sine, cosine, and tangent, right? So all this we put into the table form. So I'm going to use just 3 of them. You can also make it like a big one. So because later classes we are going to complete called unit circle very soon, and to get a whole idea of unit circle, these are the important ones. Sine 30, you have seen it is so sine 30 is half, and you also seen cosine 60 is half. Then sine 60 is root 3 divided by 2, and you see this is root 3 by 2. These two are root 2 over 2, so I'm going to use a different color for that. Root 2 over 2. And then tan 30 was root 3 over 3. I'm going to use this. Tan 45 was, and this was root 3, and this one is tan 45. If you remember this 3 things, you can't say I don't want to remember. You have to remember this, all this. The moment you remember this, no matter what questions asked, because we are going to do, hey, what is cosecant of 7 pi by 3? And we need to know, first of all, do you have to break your head of what is cosecant? Cosecant of pi by 3, of course, pi by 3 is already 60 degrees. So how do we find cosecant of? So even if you forget, at least you should know that that's reciprocal of sine, and sine 60 is root 3 by 2, see? So you just have to flip it and then take care of it. So yes, so with this I'm ending this one, because in the very now next class I want you to do make sure we get that what is sine of, let's see, pi 7 pi by 6, or cosine of 11 pi by 4. So all this will be easy once you remember this. Hope that helps, and thank you. And if you like the video, also make sure you click on the like button, and anything if you want to comment on, we'll appreciate your feedback. So this is what all. So the goal of this video is, how did we get this sine, cos, tan, and for all these 3 ratios? Now, next class we are going to build, what about the angle? These are all acute, right? This 30. So the next is, what about 120 degrees? So what do we do with such an, so when the angle, triangle, let's say this one, so this triangle, if this is 120, so how do we know what are the sides? What is sine of, let's see, 120? So that's what we do the next one. Thank you.